Well, hi everybody, it's Gail, and it's time to shake up our makeup bag. Yep, this is session number 2, and today we're going to talk about how to have a flawless complexion. And if you notice on my complexion, half has and half does not. So I'm going to walk you through all the steps on how I have a flawless complexion, and you'll just see it transform right before your very eyes, okay? So remember last time we got together, we talked about using concealers and primers. So that's already been applied to both sides. Okay. Now, this side, we're going to start with what I call whiten out my skin. So I'm going to take a little bit of my Mary Kay foundation primer and put a dab on my hand. And then I'm going to put on a little bit of my Mary Kay CC cream in very light. Now, my complexion is darker than very light, but I just put a dollop on this. And what I want to do is I want to mix this together and apply this all over my complexion, going up on my forehead, or pull that out of the way. And so I'm just doing the half of my face that does not have anything on it other than the under eye corrector around the eye. And this is just to whiten out my face and just take care of any uneven skin tone. And when we're done with this, I'm going to make sure that down in the description, I put some information about all of our Mary Kay foundations. But I want you to know that, often it's not unusual for us to need to go to a different formulation and a different shade in the wintertime. So that is very light with CC cream, okay? Just in my, and the reason I use CC cream is because it's considered a complexion correction foundation, and it takes care of any redness, and I use it in the very lightest shade so it can kind of even out skin tones that maybe need to have a little bit of that happening. Now I'm going to take the shade that I do use, which is my Mary Kay Luminous Foundation, and put a dab of that on, and that goes on next. And I'm going to use a new liquid foundation brush because I want to make sure that I don't contaminate. And I want to apply this now all over. This is close to my natural shade. And see, it's a little bit darker. I just want to apply that all over. You could apply this with a sponge if you prefer. Today, I'm using my liquid foundation brush because I like how nicely it goes on. And when you're matching foundation, there's a couple things you can do here. First of all, you'll probably just want to get together with me, or your beauty consultant, so she can match your skin tone perfectly for foundation, because we had this IntelliMatch program through Mary Kay that matches. They started it out by matching 5,000 women to discover the very best shades for women. But when we get together, Mary Kay consultants have a shade selector, and I actually punch little holes in it. So I hold it up to see which is the very best shade for my skin tone. And I hold it up over here. And then I also put 3 shades of the foundation on until I find the shade that just kind of disappears on my skin. And today, like I said earlier, I'm using Luminous foundation because this is great for normal to dry skin, which is what I have. But we also have this in matte, which is for combination to oily skin. And both of them have the age-defying properties with resveratrol. Fantastic. Okay. Now, my next step from here is I like to set my foundation with a little bit of Mary Kay setting powder. And again, we have a chart that cross-references our colors of liquid foundation with our powder products, and I'm going to powder all over my face. You can use this by itself, or you can use this with your foundation. And it has a little screen on the inside, so I need to add a little bit more to it. And I'm using my Mary Kay all over powder brush. So you can see how I'm just kind of potting it on, plopping it on all over, kind of stippling it on. And then I'm going to go and do a little bit. Remember how I said that we want to use a little bit of our light ivory just to brighten that little triangle under the eye. So I put this on. You could put this on before your powder, but I like the staying power of this, and I like the fact that it's a little bit more prevalent. So I put this on over my powder. I know that might be contrary to some Mary Kay teachings, but that's how I like to do it. And then I just dab it enough so it just brightens under my eye, but you can't really figure out why it's bright under my eye, okay? Let that sit for a minute, and then it just disappears in. So you see I have these little like brighter foundation triangles going on there. Then I like to finish everything off. And if I feel like I've got a little bit, it's not blended well enough, I'll go back and I'll double check it with my mag mirror and powder puff everything. You can also apply your foundation with a sponge, or we also have a foundation blending brush, but I like to use my Mary Kay brush for liquid foundation. Then the last thing that I like to do is I just like to set everything with my translucent loose powder. Now you're going to go, well, what about your blush? What about your contour? What about your highlight? Actually, I put that on over my translucent loose powder, and that's because I want my skin to, again, be set really good. And this gives me like amazing wear all day long. I don't have any type of oil breakthrough for the most part, like never, because my skin is on the dry side. But by using translucent loose powder, this gives your skin that luminosity, along with the luminosity impact that the translucent loose, that the TimeWise 3D luminous foundation offers. So then I would go on from there and I'd put on my blush or my contours, my highlights, but that's how I have that flawless finish. And what I love about especially this foundation and especially the CC cream is nothing gets stuck in the cracks. That's kind of a big deal in my book. Okay. Now, let me just show you a couple of other things. First of all, I talked about the Mary Kay sheer powder. This is fantastic. Mary Kay Silking Sheer Powder. Let me get the name correct. I'm going to put my glasses on for that. This is called the Mary Kay Silky Setting Powder. Okay. And this comes in a variety of shades that I like to put on over my liquid foundation. We also have our Mary Kay Translucent Loose Powder. Great for all skin tones, everybody. So let's say your husband, is shiny on top. You could dust his head with this before you do a family picture, and it does a great job of taking the shine off, or anybody for that matter, to just take the shine off before they get pictures taken. Okay, and then in addition to that, Mary Kay also has Endless Performance. It's called Creamed Powder Foundation, and I just have it in this little container today. So this is a cream base, and this is where you would use this sponge to apply this. This comes again in coordinating shades. This is best for gals that want to have more of a cream foundation, then it dries to a powdery finish. Often women use this, have a little bit of combination to oily skin, prefer this formulation also. And then the last thing I want to show you is our Mary Kay Mineral Setting Powder. And it is actual mineral powder, and you can get it in a compact, and you can either apply it with a cosmetic sponge, but I recommend the brush because it just gives you a lighter weight application. So just in summary, Mary Kay actually has 5 different foundations that you can experiment with. We want to make sure that you reach out to your consultant to find out which ones are best or what color and shade are best for you. So in the post below, if you don't have a Mary Kay consultant, click on to me. And if you want to see more Mary Kay videos, in this, you'll see that I've got a little flower down in the bottom of my video. Just go ahead and click on that. And then you can subscribe and get more great beauty tips because we're coming out with new things all the time. So that's everything that I've got for now. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a flawless finish day.